Things I wish I knew when I was pregnant or postpartum. Obviously, as a first-time mom, I did a lot of research like Google and YouTube, and these are things that now I look back and wish somebody would have told me, or I would have seen a video on it. Probably is, and I just missed it. But I wanted to share the things that for me, I wish I knew. So number one automatically jumps into my head is stool softener. Never saw a video about suggesting you buy stool softener, you have stool softener. I honestly never used stool softener, so I didn't buy it. I wasn't prepared with it. And I wish I did, and I wish I heard stories. So TMI ahead of time. After obviously I gave birth and I was in recovery, I got stool softener. That was one of the first things that was given to me along with Motrin. And I understood, obviously it was explained to me. I took it, but I didn't have any. So on our way home from the hospital, once we were discharged, I had my husband Alex go to Walmart, buy me stool softener. I took it, and after I finished it, the first little bottle, I just stopped taking it. I again Google researched and it said you shouldn't take it for long, extended periods of time, so I stopped. Worst mistake ever. So this is where it's TMI. After I stopped, I was going through so much pain when I went to the bathroom, number two, to the point where it was like puddles of blood. It got to a point where I took a picture to show my doctor because I was really concerned. I was breastfeeding, so I was obviously paranoid with what do I put in my body and what I don't. So long story short, I was in excruciating pain. It felt like my butthole was ripping. And when I went to the doctors, I was told that I shouldn't have stopped taking stool softener. So number one thing I wish I would have known was how important stool softener is. Don't stop taking it, and have it as a backup, even if you don't need it. We're all different. We all have different experiences, but in my mindset, it's better to be prepared. That's number one. Number two, without going into my breastfeeding journey, is if you're planning on breastfeeding, if you're pregnant, if you're planning on getting pregnant, or if you're just curious. Okay, I got cut off. So breastfeeding, it's a lot. The thing I wish I knew about breastfeeding, besides the pumps and the Haka and like all of these, accessories. And maybe it was my fault because I didn't do as much research into it. I just kind of went in blindly thinking, I'm going to breastfeed. I hope he latches and I hope I get my milk supply. It takes a very, very, very big toll on you mentally and physically, probably emotionally as well. It's a full-time job being a new mom and having a baby and figuring it all out, and breastfeeding. Kudos to all the moms that do it for long periods of time. I could only do it for 3 months, but when I initially started, I wish I would have done more research on the mental toll it takes on you. It's really hard, and I think if you're a new mom or planning on being a mom, you should do a lot of research on maybe creating a schedule and your mental health. So much is going on. I feel like that it's really hard to also juggle. You have to, how can I even explain it? Like yourself, like when you're breastfeeding, what you consume, drinking water, all of those things are such big factors in your milk supply. So if you start to let slip that you're not drinking enough water, that you're not eating right, that you're not eating a lot, like me, I have the worst diet in the world. I think I do not drink enough water. I never have. I do not eat enough. I do not eat healthy. Like sometimes I go all day and all I've had was coffee. So it was a lot for me and I couldn't keep up with it. And then I had to stop for two times for medical reasons, and it's a lot. So I wish I would have done more research, and I wish I would have got more knowledge on the toll it could take on your mental health and how to juggle it. That's number two. Number three, my nose is running this is getting too deep. Number 3 is things that I wish I knew. Oh, again, everyone is different, so probably some people haven't experienced this, but after, I don't know if it was like days or maybe like a week or so of being home from the hospital, my wrists were hurting so bad, like so bad. Like I was Googling carpal tunnel, like extreme pain. It's a thing. It's a thing with moms. I forget what the name is for it, but it's a thing that your wrist hurts, and I think it's, if I'm not wrong, linked to the way you're holding your baby. And for me, I think it had a lot to do with the way I was getting up. I was putting so much pressure on my wrist holding myself up, or it was just, I wish I would have known about it. I wish maybe I would have gotten a wrist brace just on standby, but it was painful. It was weird, and it was a thing. What is this? Number 4. As soon as I got home from the hospital, my heels on my feet were literally like rocks. It was like they were hard and cracked and flaky and dry, and I was like, what the hell is this? It's a thing. It's a thing with new moms, with postpartum, with whatever it's linked to. It's a thing. It's not because you know you're doing something wrong. It's a thing. I wish I would have known about that, because I was really like insecure about it. I was like really concerned about it. I was like, what is going on with my feet? And it went away. It completely went away. So that's a weird thing. To maybe have like lotion on standby for your feet. I don't know, but it goes away. Along with the wrist thing, it went away. Another thing that I never heard, I never saw videos on, and it could be, again, I didn't do enough research, was back to when I was pregnant. Headaches. The amount of headaches I was getting was insane. Like I had so many headaches, so bad. Like I was like in bed, like laying on my couch. I couldn't. That could probably be a whole thing in itself. My pregnancy symptoms, the headaches, the food aversions, like to the smells, like the smell of food, specifically seasoning on food, like adobo. I could not. I got to a point where I told Alex to please not make eggs, because it was hurting me. That was a really big one. I was like, what the hell is going on? The tiredness. I mean, these are all basic things that you do hear about, but when you feel them, it's like it hits you like a ton of bricks. Like it almost seems weird. Like this is really strange. I'm probably past 5 at this point. The last one that I'll end with before I get too deep into my pregnancy journey and my delivery and my postpartum and labor and everything is when they do is it the funnel massages, or they do massages on your stomach right after you give birth, to make sure that your, what is it called? That your cervix dilates, and basically you don't internally bleed. I did no research about that. The only thing that I saw and heard was it hurts. It hurts. That's pretty much it. And I kind of was like, whatever. I wish I would have done more research on it. I would have been more informed. That way I could inform Alex, and we could have been maybe not avoided it. It is what it is. What's destined for you is destined for you. But I think it would have helped, because the nurse that I got, I think she was new. She wasn't doing it right. I was internally bleeding, and we had no idea. The way I was feeling, she didn't know and didn't kind of put 2 and 2 together. And I feel bad for her, because she's a nurse, she's new, and she was really young. And I think it was really traumatic for her, as it was for me. But you could tell, like, I felt bad for her, and I was the one that was like internally bleeding. But I wish I would have done more research and just been more informed, because I didn't, and I wasn't, and that made it so much more scarier. So without going into full detail of everything. Those are the things that I wish I would have saw a video on, that I wish I would have heard about more or heard at all about, so I could have looked into more, had things to the side and prepared for, because everyone is different. Everyone goes through different things. You may not experience, or you may not have experienced what I did, but it's always a plus knowing. It's always a plus having something at arm's length to take care of little things, because at that moment when you're in recovery, it's always easier to have something there, to not have to stress about something, to already know about it and not go crazy on Google. Google is an enemy and a friend. So I wanted to make a video about those things, and I hope they're helpful, and I hope they're informative, and I hope it was interesting, because I know if I would have seen this back when I was pregnant and doing my YouTube and Google searches, I would have enjoyed it. So good luck if you're pregnant, if you're planning on being pregnant, or if you're just curious, when you're a mom, seeing and hearing new things or things you didn't see or hear before, it's very relieving. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you later.